My fiancé announced, "I'm done listening to your feelings and needs. You're too emotional for a man." I said, "Noted." Then I stopped sharing completely, including that I'd been offered a job in another state, when the moving truck showed up, and she had no idea I'd already accepted it. I'm Alex, 32, and I thought I knew what love looked like, what compromise felt like, what it meant to build a life together. But apparently, I only thought I knew. That Tuesday started like any other. I was making spaghetti for dinner, trying to keep my nerves from showing, trying not to think about the giant stack of wedding invites we still hadn't addressed, the bar tabs, the photographer, the DJ. Her parents had been so excited to help cover the big stuff, the venue, the catering, $24,000 altogether. The numbers alone were suffocating. I had suggested maybe we should go over our finances together, sit down like responsible adults before we committed anything, but apparently even that was too much. She slammed her water glass down. "Oh my God, not this again." No, I said nothing. I just watched the way her jaw tightened, the way she turned her eyes toward the ceiling as if I had nothing worth noticing. "I just think we should—" I started. "No," she cut me off. "I'm done. I'm done listening to your feelings and needs. You're too emotional for a man. Do you know how exhausting it is? Every single decision requires a discussion. My dad never acted like this. He just handled things and let my mom plan. I'm not your dad. Clearly, he's actually masculine." I stood there holding a spatula, feeling my own pasta stick to the bottom of the pot, burned but not enough to care. "You want me to stop sharing my feelings?" I asked quietly. "I want you to stop having so many feelings, or at least keep them to yourself. I can't be your therapist." Noted. That was it. Turned off the stove, lost my appetite, sat down at the table and just let it settle in. That night, I realized she didn't want to hear me. So I stopped. Not for a week, not for a day, but completely. I started making decisions silently, planning without telling her, because why would I share with someone who refused to listen? The very next morning, 9:23 a.m., a recruiter messaged me on LinkedIn. Senior software architect position, 850 miles away, $105,000 salary increase, $12,000 signing bonus, full relocation. Normally, I would have wanted to discuss it, maybe weigh pros and cons with her, but not this time. I responded, extremely interested. "When can we talk?" Interview at 2 p.m., nailed it. Friday, panel interview with 6 people for 2 hours. I crushed it. By Monday at 11:08 a.m., the offer arrived. Signed at 11:34 a.m., start date in 6 weeks. Apartment hunting began immediately. 3 days later, I found the perfect place, a 1-bedroom in a nice building, $680 a month. Signed the lease. First, last security, $5,400 total. I made sure it was only my name on it. Perfect timing with our current lease ending in 7 weeks. The fiancé had no idea. Wednesday, I gave 2 weeks' notice at work. Boss was disappointed, but understood. I started decluttering, selling things online, making space. She loved it. "See, this is what I've been saying. You had so much junk," she said. Sure, I thought. I rented a storage unit 2 weeks out, $165 a month, move her stuff there on Saturdays, told her I'd be donating most of it. Week 4, her mom called about the wedding. "Need your guest list by next week. Better ask her about that. Is everything okay?" "Just busy. 5 months away." Week 5, booked the moving truck. 20-footer, $950 with insurance. Friday, 9 a.m. She'd be home all day. Video calls stacked back to back until at least 3 p.m. Even better. Thursday night, barely slept. Excited, nervous, a mix that churned my stomach. She woke up at 8 a.m., coffee, laptop, ready for meetings. "Don't make noise, okay?" I whispered, "Won't be a problem." 8:47 a.m., movers 10 minutes out. 8:58 a.m., truck pulls up. She's mid-video call. "Can you get that?" She whispers, barely moving her lips. I open the door. 3 guys with dollies. "Here for the move." "Yep, let's do this." Directed them efficiently. Her head whipped around, as the first couch was carried out. She tried to say something, but her boss was speaking. She mouthed words I couldn't hear, typing, "What's happening?" I texted, "Moving. Stay on your call." Eyes went from confusion to panic to fury. "Second trip? TV, desk, bookshelf." She typed again, "What do you mean moving?" Exactly what it sounds like. Different state. New job Monday. She was frozen on camera, entire team watching. Texted, "You can't just leave. We're getting married." I typed back, "You said you were done listening to my feelings, so I stopped sharing them. This includes job offer, apartment, move. Movers need help." She tried to get up. Someone shouted on her speakers, froze. "Turn back." Movers worked 3 hours. 65% of our apartment was gone. She stayed on video calls the entire time, muting, unmuting, asking what was happening. I told her, "I already told you can't do this." "I'm doing it. We're supposed to get married in 5 months?" "Not anymore. My parents spent $24,000. "Your parents?" "Not me." 11:52 a.m., movers finished. I walked over, placed keys and garage remote on the table. "Lease ends in 2 weeks. You're not on it. Handle it however you want. Don't contact me again." Close the door. Follow the truck. Ignore her 18 missed calls and 32 texts. Gas station stop. Read them. Answer your phone. "You can't do this to me." "Where are you going?" "Calling police." "My mom is freaking out." Ignored. 6 hours later, new apartment. Movers unloaded. Tipped $200. Ordered Chinese. Sat on couch. Looked at phone. 63 missed calls. Over 100 texts, 12 voicemails. They escalated. VM1. "What the hell is going on? Call me back now." VM3. "Landlord said lease ends in 2 weeks." VM6. "My mom is crying. Do you know what you've done?" Replied once. "You told me you were done listening to my feelings. I took you seriously. Stop sharing everything including job offer, apartment, and move. Lease ends in 2 weeks. Only my name. Handle it however you want. Don't contact me again." Blocked her family, went to bed. Saturday morning. First day exploring new city. Felt amazing. 26 emails from her mom, her sister, her dad, best friend, cousins. "You have humiliated our family. Call 180 people and cancel wedding. $24,000 lost. Lawyer involved." Replied, "Never signed contract. Never contributed financially. Planned it without my input because your daughter said she didn't want my input. Sue if you want. You'll lose." Her dad emailed, "Raise daughter to be strong, maybe too strong. What you did leaving without a word. Not what men do. Call me." Did not respond. Blocked all. Sunday afternoon, knock on door. Peephole. Her mom, sister. Chain on. "How did you get this address?" "Your mother gave it to me." Open door. "You abandoned me," X shrieked. "We drove 9 hours." "Don't contact me." Mom pushed forward. "You owe explanation, money thousands spent. Spent thousands on wedding I never agreed to pay for. Your daughter said she didn't want my input. She got her wish." Sister yelled, "You're twisting everything." One bad day, he blew up life. Multiple bad days. 3 months telling me I was too emotional. One comment ended it. Security intervened. Private property, leave or police. They left screaming about lawyers. Karma. Monday, new job great. Update 2. Week 1. Ex found work email. Sent novel Tuesday morning harassing me. I left her. She's not handling well. HR intervened. Cease and desist issued. She stopped. Month 2. Called main office repeatedly. LinkedIn messages. "I know you hate me. Maybe I am, but I miss you." Closure. Ignored. Month 3. Best friend called work line. She's lost 20 pounds. Barely out of bed. Reported. HR blocked. Emails from her mother's lawyer. Repeated threats. Lawyer. Frivolous. Cease contact. Month 4. Mutual friend told story being rewritten. Left her high and dry. Explained. She refused to hear feelings. I stopped sharing job, move. Week 17. Certified letter from her dad. Apology. Text revealed ex plan to train me to be less needy. Ashamed. Sorry. Recognized error. Final email from ex. For months therapy. Realize wrongs, controlling, dismissive, damage you. Sorry. Don't expect forgiveness. Felt nothing. Life now. New job raise, performance bonus, cost of living adjustment, casual dating, teacher, listens empathetic, shares day, apartment feels like home, furniture mine, friends here, life I enjoy, feelings share with those who want to hear. Ex wanted man with no needs. Got exactly that for 6 weeks while I planned exit. Then nothing. Best revenge is giving exactly what they asked for. Then leaving. Weeks went by. And even after her and her family had left my apartment screaming and threatening, I couldn't fully relax. There was still this weight, this constant awareness that I had just severed years of plans, dreams, a shared life. And while I knew I had done the right thing for myself, it felt like walking away from a battlefield. I spent the first week setting up my apartment, getting used to silence, to control over my own space. Every corner, every wall, every shelf became my own decision. I realized just how little control I'd ever had in our relationship. Even though we planned a wedding, picked out china, the colors of the flowers, the tablecloths, the photographer, and the DJ, I hadn't felt like a participant in my own life for months. Now, for the first time, I did. My parents called, of course, worry about how messy it had gotten, but relieved I was okay. I reassured them I was fine, that I'd thought this through, that she had left me no choice. But I could hear in their voices. They were scared of the backlash from her family, worried about lawsuits, about reputation. I couldn't blame them. I was still wary too, though my resolve was ironclad. The first weekend, I allowed myself a real breath. I unpacked the last of my things, arranged my living room exactly how I liked it, put up framed photos of trips I'd taken solo or with friends, added plants I didn't have time to care for before. I even started cooking again, properly, not just the rushed spaghetti and frozen meals I tolerated when we were together. For the first time in months, I felt a sense of accomplishment, of peace. That peace lasted until Thursday afternoon, when a certified letter arrived from her lawyer. I already had a feeling what it was, but I opened it anyway, scanning the words like a professional athlete reading a playbook. They were attempting another frivolous lawsuit, breach of promise to marry, unjust enrichment, claims I owed half the wedding deposits. My lawyer chuckled on the phone. Alex, they have zero case. You never signed anything. All claims are baseless. Any further attempts, and we can countersue for harassment. I hung up, feeling that familiar surge of relief. But relief was temporary. That evening, my phone rang with an unknown number. My chest tightened before I answered. It was her best friend, frantically pleading, claiming that Alex, know that I had left her completely destroyed. I didn't respond, told my voicemail to take a message, and immediately blocked the number. The calls kept coming from different numbers, different angles. Mutual friends forwarded screenshots of texts she had sent. You left me for no reason, broke my heart, destroyed my life, stole my future. I stared at them for a long time, but I didn't answer. I knew what I had done. I had planned my exit meticulously, not to hurt her, but to protect myself from a relationship where my feelings had been systematically dismissed and belittled. Still, the intensity of her reaction, the amount of energy her and her family poured in to try and control me, terrified me. I started double-checking locks, installing extra security cameras, letting my neighbors know the situation in case things escalated. I hadn't felt fear like this in years. Not for myself, but for the potential chaos they could bring into my life. Weeks turned into a month, and the constant barrage of emails, calls, and messages started to wear on me. HR had blocked her from contacting my workplace. Cease and desist letters had been sent, yet I had to remain vigilant. Every time I walked to the mailbox, every time my phone buzzed, I felt the adrenaline spike. I couldn't allow myself to slip back into old habits, where I over-explained or tried to justify my decisions. I realized that this was about control, and no amount of logic or evidence could satisfy someone who refused to take responsibility for their actions. Around week 6, something shifted. She started sending letters addressing me in my apartment, notes of apology, confessions about how therapy had opened her eyes, how she recognized the patterns of her behavior, how she regretted dismissing my feelings and trying to manipulate situations. Reading them felt surreal. I wasn't angry, wasn't satisfied, wasn't even tempted to respond. I had moved on. I had a life I loved, a space that was mine, a job I was proud of, and a sense of independence I'd never truly experienced before. I had learned that sometimes leaving isn't just about escape. It's about survival, growth, and reclaiming the parts of yourself that were suffocated. By the end of the second month, I had fully furnished my apartment, created routines that made me happy, and even started dating casually. Her existence still hovered in the background of my life, like a shadow I had learned to ignore. Mutual friends were careful, sending updates in hushed tones, and I made sure I maintained boundaries. The more I embraced my new life, the smaller her influence became. 6 months in, her emails shifted again, from anger to sorrow, from threats to acknowledgement. I understand now. One began. I've been in therapy for months. I see how I treated you, how I made you feel like your feelings didn't matter. I was controlling, dismissive, and I damaged you. I'm sorry. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I understand why you left. I read it 3 times, felt nothing. Closure doesn't always come from confrontation. Sometimes it comes from simply moving forward. I deleted the email and continued my day, knowing that while she had recognized her mistakes, it was too late for her to affect me. Through all of this, I realized something profound. Relationships aren't just about love. They're about mutual respect, about validation, about feeling safe to express your emotions without fear of ridicule. I had been denied that repeatedly, and leaving was the only way to reclaim it. My new girlfriend, Emma, a teacher I had met through a friend, was different. She asked about my day, actually listened to the answers, and never made me feel like my emotions were a burden. Small things, gestures, conversations that most people take for granted, but to me, they were revolutionary. Life slowly returned to a rhythm I could trust, a rhythm I had control over. Friends came over without fear of judgment or conflict. I explored the city, found restaurants I liked, spent weekends hiking and camping, and even started hosting small dinners for people I cared about. I shared my feelings, my thoughts, my worries, openly and freely, without the fear of being labeled too emotional. Sometimes I caught myself thinking about her, about the chaos she had left behind, and I felt a fleeting pang of guilt. But then I remembered every dismissive comment, every belittling remark, every time my feelings had been declared too much for her to handle. I remembered the moving truck, the silence, the freedom I had gained, and the guilt faded. I had survived, and more than survived, I had thrived. Even now, over a year later, I keep the letters she sent tucked away in a drawer, a reminder not pain, but how far I had come. I read them occasionally, not for nostalgia, not for anger, but as a testament to the fact that I had reclaimed my life. I had learned, perhaps painfully, that boundaries aren't just rules. They're acts of self-preservation. And sometimes, the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to say no to someone who refuses to hear your feelings or honor your needs. My parents, who had been worried sick for weeks during the initial chaos, now look at me differently. They see my independence, my happiness, and my sense of control over my own life. They see me as a man who, despite being called too emotional, can make decisions, take responsibility, and protect himself when necessary. And it feels good, really good, to finally have their pride, not because I hurt someone else, but because I reclaimed myself. I never imagined that leaving a toxic relationship could feel like this, like reclaiming a stolen piece of your identity. And the ironic part? She wanted a man who didn't express emotion, who silently endured, who handled everything without complaint. I gave her exactly that for 6 weeks while planning my exit, and then I gave her nothing at all. And in that nothing, I found everything: freedom, happiness, peace, and a life where my feelings finally mattered. Sometimes I think about what would have happened if I had stayed, if I had continued sharing my life with someone who refused to hear me. I shudder at the thought. I likely would have been drained, resentful, trapped in a marriage built on performance rather than understanding. The life I live now, messy, chaotic, full of mistakes and triumphs, is mine. Every choice, every risk, every step forward is mine. I wake up, make my coffee, sit on my couch, and feel proud of the world I built, the person I become. And that's when I finally understand a real lesson. Love doesn't mean giving yourself away. Love doesn't mean enduring dismissal or belittlement. True love and true respect starts with honoring yourself, even if it means leaving someone who refuses to honor you. It's messy, it's painful, it's scary, but it's the only way to survive and eventually thrive.